Hey there, welcome to LC Yoga. My name is Laura, and today we're going to get fit in this quick flow that is strength and balance building. So we're going to get started in a plank pose. So come on down onto your hands and knees, spread your fingertips wide, and bend your elbows out to the side for a second, and then kind of draw them in toward each other. And let that sort of broaden the shoulder blades. And this just gives you a nice strong foundation in plank. Dig your fingertips into the ground and let the middle of your palm come up off the ground. Then place your toes, curl your toes under, lift your knees, strong plank. Draw the core in toward the center line, toward your spine. Draw the legs in toward each other, and let the crown of your head and your heels reach away from each other. And take a few big breaths here in plank. Hands are somewhere under the shoulders. Shoulders are comfortable. You're continuously utilizing your chest muscles, so you're drawing those arms toward each other. Core is drawn in, legs are strong. And then using those core muscles, you're going to lift the hips into a downward dog. Now start to draw the heels toward the ground. They don't have to touch. We're not warmed up yet. So bend into the knees, curl the tailbone up toward the sky. Downward dog. Take a few big breaths here as well. Maybe bending into one knee and then the other. Maybe even pressing the chest through the shoulders, stretch them out. Just waking up here in downward dog. And then when you're ready, come on forward back into a plank. We're not letting the hips drop. Core is strong, so it's pulled up in a long line from the crown of the head to the heels. Big breaths, strong plank. And then lift the hips into downward dog. Same thing, knees don't have to be straightened, heels don't have to be on the ground. Move around and stretch it out. And we're going to take two more planks, but they're going to be side planks. So as you come forward into a regular plank, and then turn so that your feet are facing toward the left, and lift your left arm up toward the sky. Press down with that right, and if this is too much, bring your left foot out in front of you. And that'll give you a modified plank so it's not so much on your arm. Big breath here, and then swim that arm forward, come back into your standard plank. Turn the feet toward the right. Same thing on this side. Reach the right arm up toward the sky. You can stack those feet. Palm is lifting, fingertips into the ground, lift down, or press down to lift up out of that shoulder. Maybe your right foot comes out in front. Big breath here. And then swim that arm forward, back to a plank. Lower the knees to the ground this time and sit back on the heels for a child's pose. Breathe. Now we're getting warm. Now walk the hands up and we're going to curl the toes under and then lift the hips. So we're in a forward fold at the back of the mat. Bend the knees nice and deep here, and you can have the elbows on the knees, hands on the shins, the feet or the floor. Just bending into the knees as much as they need to be. Maybe rock back and forth here. Now walk the hands forward to about the middle of the mat and then bring the feet to meet it. So now you're going to forward fold in the middle of the mat. come into a long spine. So fingertips on the floor or the shins. Bend into the knees if the hands are on the shins, so you can place the fingertips on the floor and you're going to lift your left foot up toward the sky. Standing split. Now we always think that foot needs to be straight up toward the sky. That rarely happens. Just let it go as far as it's going to go. Just lifting straight up. Try to keep the hips squared for now to the ground. So you're using that glute muscle and the back of your thigh to lift that foot up. Bend into the standing leg as much as you need to. And take a big breath here. And let it out. Now stack the hips. So open the hips up. So that foot's going as high as it can. Big breath in. And then as you exhale, bend into your standing leg and bring your top knee behind that one. So you're in kind of a funky little squat. And then inhale, lift the leg back up. Stretch it out. Exhale, come on down. Inhale it up. And exhale it down. Now this time sit down. And you're going to come into a seated spinal twist. So your right foot is on the outside of your left knee. And your left foot is tucked by your right hip. Press your fingertips into the ground behind you with your right arm. And then wrap your left around the knee. Draw it up and over toward the left. Take a deep breath in to get tall. And then as you exhale, twist from the belly button. Maybe looking toward the right over the shoulder. One more big breath here. Inhaling to get tall. And exhaling, you twist. And then come back to center and take a nice little counter twist in the other direction. And then leaning forward, we're going to come out the same way we came in. So come back to that standing split, left foot up. Big breath in. And then plant the foot, meet the feet together on the ground. And we're going to take that to the other side. So lift your right foot up. Starting out with the hips squared toward the ground. And a great way to do that is to draw your pinky toe toward the ground as your big toe goes up toward the sky. Spread the toes wide. Big breaths, getting long in that left leg. And inhale that foot up toward the sky, and as you do that, open the hip. And then exhale, come on down into that funky little squat, drawing your knee behind the standing leg. Inhale, reach the leg up. Exhaling to come on down. One more time, inhale it up, open the hip. Exhaling down. And then we're going to just sit right back into our seated spinal twist. This time the left foot's on the outside of the right knee. Left fingertips behind, wrap that top knee with your right arm. Inhale to get tall, and then exhale to twist. You're drawing your knee and your hip away from each other. So press your left hip out and away while you draw that knee up and over toward the right. Twisting from the belly button so there's zero crunching in the shoulders. Relax your jaw here. One more big breath. And then release, come back to center, counter twist that in the other direction. Counter twist is some of the best part. And then come back out the way we went in. Right foot up toward the sky in a standing split. And then walk your hands so they're about maybe 1.5 feet in front of that front foot. And bring both feet back so you're back into a plank. And then lift the hips up, downward dog. Should be feeling a little looser here in downward dog, but feel free to stretch it out in any way that feels good. Bending one knee and then the other, maybe rocking the hips side to side. And then as you inhale, lift your left foot up toward the sky. Exhaling, step it forward into a lunge and then walk your hands between your feet as you turn toward the right. So now you're facing the long side of the mat. Bend into the knees, bring your hands to your thighs, and then come on up. And then we're just gonna sink down into the hips. So letting the shoulders come up toward the ears. It's a great stretch for the shoulders and the side waist. Just let the hips get heavy. And then come on up to stand, reach the arms up toward the sky, and bring the hands in prayer in front of the heart. And then step to the left, so you've got your feet together. And here we'll do a bit of a standing series. So feet can be together to begin with, but start to lean into that left foot. So you get all the weight into the left foot and kick your hip out toward the left. And that just sort of gives you a nice foundation as we're going to lift that foot off the ground. Bring your left hand to your hip and draw your knee in toward your chest on the right side. Grab your knee with your right hand. Maybe find a gaze point out in front of you, and that'll help you balance. And just hang out right there if that feels like enough. If you want to come with me, grab a hold of your big toe with the two fingers, your two first fingers on your right hand. We're just going to stretch into the hip here. So draw that foot in and up. Challenge your balance. And you can stay right there, or you can extend that leg out toward the right. And as you do that, you might want to counterbalance with your left arm. You can feel the strength building in that left leg. And if you wobble, come right back in. And then come back to center. And then bring that foot down to the ground. Shake the legs out. And we'll take that to the other side. So this time all the way into the right foot. Kick that hip out. That helps with balance. And then you may even wobble while you're just standing here. Bring your right hand to your hip and then draw the left knee in. And if that's enough, stay right there. If you want to challenge a little bit more, grab a hold of that left big toe and then draw the foot up. Kicking that knee out toward the left helps to let the elbow go out with it. Maybe wobble a little more. Just come right back in if you fall out. Breathe. Stay here, or maybe kick that foot out toward the left and right arm goes out toward the right. Feel all those little muscles in your right leg working to keep you upright. Super important to have that balance. When I'm standing in line at the airport, I'll stand on one foot just to get a little balance challenge and practice in. Maybe draw that foot in again and then release and shake the legs out. A little more balancing, so stand onto that left foot again, all the way over, kick that knee out, draw the knee in toward the chest, and again, you can just stay here. If you want to try tree pose, bring the foot in toward the thigh, maybe the knee, or even the ankle. Right? So find your tree pose that feels good in your knee and your standing leg. And bring the hands in prayer in front of the heart. And then maybe lift them up overhead. And standing balances, they look like you're not doing much. It's way harder than it looks. Again, if you wobble out, come right back in. And then while we're here, we're going to do a little extra with an arm flow. So bring the hands down and sweep them out toward the sides, up toward the sky, and then come on back, hands in prayer. front of the heart. And do that 2 more times. Inhaling out toward the side and up. And exhale down. Inhale. And exhale. And then release. Shake it out. And we'll take that to the other side. All weight into the right foot. Draw the knee in toward the chest on the left side, hand on the hip. Perfectly fine to stay right there, practicing that amount of balance. If you want to take tree, ankle, knee, or thigh, place the foot in there. Kicking that hip out toward the right really helps the foot sit on the inner thigh. Hands in prayer in front of the heart. Don't forget to find that drishti or gaze point out in front of you. That'll help you balance. Maybe floating the arms up overhead. And then maybe finding that arm balance, sweeping the arms out to the sides and up. And exhaling down through center. Inhaling. Exhaling. Finding the dance inside the exercise. And then release and shake the legs out. Bring the legs back into a wide-legged stance. And then bend into the knees just so that you can, without straining the knee at all, lean over toward the left. And we're going to take Skandasana. So come on down, placing the hip on the heel. And you may want to stay right here. That may feel fine. Otherwise, bring the heel down to the ground as well. And let the left arm go out toward the side and the right arm up toward the sky. You may want to add a twist to this, and if so, turn the thumb down so it inwardly rotates your shoulder and wrap that arm around and then grab a hold of those fingertips with your right. Right toes are up toward the sky. And then place the hands down on the ground. Come on back to center. Inhale to get long and have a flat back. And then exhale, fold it into the center. Like a wide-legged forward fold. Turn the tailbone up toward the sky. Knees can be bent here. And then walk the hands out, bend into the right knee, and take Skandasana on this side. Again, you can have hip to heel, heel off the ground. Just stretch into the hips and the inner thigh on the left side. Maybe your heel comes down, and if it does, let your right arm go out to the right, left arm up to the sky. Maybe take the twist, turning the thumb down. Wrap that arm and grab fingertips. And then just sit down to release. Cross the legs and come back into a plank, and we're going to hang out here for 5 breaths. So draw your elbows in toward each other. Use the chest and shoulder muscles, pressing the fingertips into the ground, lifting the palms. Heels and the top of the head working away from each other. Drawing the abs in toward the spine. Legs are strong. 2 more breaths. And then lift the hips up, stretch it out in downward dog. Feeling a lot more open now. Press the chest through the shoulders, stretch them out. And then walk the feet or the knees through the hands so you can come into a seated position. Stick the legs out in front of you for a seated forward fold, bending into the knees and rocking the hips so they go out behind you, and then start to press the chest forward with bent knees. And then kick your hips back, and that's how you're going to work towards straightening the legs. Close the eyes. Don't worry about how it looks. You're not trying to get your nose on your shin. You're more trying to get your chest towards your toes. So you're going that way, and the hips are going back. Walk the hands up, last stretch. Place the bottoms of the feet together, knees out to the side for Baddha Konasana, butterfly pose. Place the fingertips behind you, and again, press your chest forward. Sort of leaning into the hips. If that feels good, stay there. If your body allows, maybe bring the hands out in front. Pressing the chest forward, close the eyes. And let each breath open the hips a little more. Going a little further into the pose with each inhale and exhale. Walk the hands up, draw the knees together, scoot the hips forward, roll down onto your back. And then let your feet go about the width of the mat. Feet flop open, palms open to the sky. The most important part of practice, Shavasana. Let your body take just a minute to rest and absorb what it's learned. Take a deep inhale and let it out through an open mouth. Sigh it out. Maybe doing that a couple more times. Just letting everything sink into the floor. Give yourself this little gift, just a moment of relaxation. And one more time, take a deep breath in through the nose. Let it out through an open mouth. Draw the knees in toward the chest. Wrap your arms around, give them a squeeze. And then make your way on up to sit. Find a comfortable seat. Half lotus, simple cross-legged. Palms up to the sky, close the eyes. Crown of the head, reach away from the tailbone. Take just a moment here to thank yourself for taking the time to get on the mat today. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me. I really hope you enjoyed today's class. And if you did, please consider subscribing and maybe throw me a comment on this video and tell me what you thought. And if you check out the For You section of my channel page, you're probably going to find another video that you like if you liked this one. If you're a beginner, look for the beginner series. That's one of my playlists that you'll find also on my channel. And if you're not a beginner, if you've been doing yoga for a while, you're going to find lots of stuff here that will take you from fitness to relaxation and everything in between. So I hope to see you again. Thanks so much.